Hey guys, it's Adam with Unleashed Wargaming. Um, Touching on this new rumors topic, I haven't done anything with it yet. Everybody else has been talking about it and putting them up, and I didn't want to just come on and say the same thing. But yeah, the more I see about it, the more it's troubling. And as you know, if you've seen my other videos on rumors and changes, I'm always saying stay calm, see what's going to happen. Don't freak out and run away. Don't sell your stuff. Let's just, Games Workshop in the past has always improved. The prices get higher, whatever, but the models got better. It's always been okay. Um, I'm still trying to take that role with Ninth Edition. It's but it's not easy. I tell you what, I've been looking at it and reading on it and listening to other people's opinions and all this stuff, and I know that we don't know what's going on. Games Workshop probably knows what's going on. They may still be in the planning stage, who knows? But the fact is, we don't know what's going on. These are rumors, and other rumors have almost all turned out to be true when they come from a semi-reliable source. There's a lot of people out there with all this, garbage and stuff too, but, they seem to be from the people who get it right. I don't like anything I'm seeing, except new models for all armies. That's that's about the only thing I'm seeing. And not replacing. I don't mean, hey, great, they're replacing all of them. I mean that they're going to make new models for different things. So what I'm going to, I want to cover some of these things and give opinions on it and what I think about it anyway, if you're interested. So, first of all, they call it big changes, that they are going to blow up the old world, and there's going to be huge chunks floating through space, bumping into each other, and they're dimensional bubbles, so it's not just like a big piece of dirt, but it's actually some sort of dimensional thing floating through space, colliding and causing battles. So geez, it's hard to continue after saying that. If that's true, I have a couple of theories on how that came about. Three, actually, I'm thinking. As you know, back in several months ago when the Gash first came out, I put out a video, Ninth Edition predictions, and it was just my guesses, and I guessed that Warhammer was going to release a skirmish, more skirmish type, better than Mordheim, more like War Machine or something like that to compete, but you would have the option to play regular Warhammer with Ninth Edition rules. I think I was half right. I think they're moving Ninth Edition into only skirmish, is what it seems like. And I know all the stuff about movement trays that hold round bases and all this garbage, but so what? Fantasy is cool because your models rank up and they make big units like old wars were fought. And yeah, there were armies that went out all crazy with no semblance of unity and no formations, and those are the armies that lost and got killed all the time. So, anyway, back to my theories. Games Workshop. One theory, and my final theory will be the one that seems most likely. Games Workshop tried to sue and tried to stop War Machine, Warma Hordes. They said that the robots looked too much like dreadnoughts, took them to court, and they lost. I heard there was a lawsuit over paints. I'm not familiar with that, but they lost. Then they started suing people about, what their armies are called, and stormtroopers and Imperial Guard, all this stuff, and they lost. And so now they're changing the names of all their 40K stuff. Okay, so Games Workshop gets a little hurt and they realize that War Machine and Warma Hordes is growing fast and being strong, and they're trying to compete. So they're going to go more that way. They're going to go with round bases. They're going to go with large models that skirmish, and you can throw some small ones out there, which sounds an awful lot like War Machine. And that's what 9th edition sounds like. Theory number 2 is, again, following the line of Warma Hordes. They blow the world up into dimensional bubbles. Gosh, that's stupid. Every time I say it, I just want to hit myself. Dimensional bubbles floating through space, bumping into each other and starting wars. And I tell you, if I was on a dimensional bubble barely hanging on and I bumped into someone else's dimensional bubble, the first thing I would do is take a shot at them. I tell you, I wouldn't try and work it out or figure anything out. I would just grab my sword and go running. But, yeah, I think my next theory is, just like Warma Hordes and the fact that they refer, the rumors, not Games Workshop, but the rumors refer to it as the warp, similar to the warp in 40K, and they're dimensional bubbles. I'm wondering if this is some way going to turn into, yeah, you have small skirmished fantasy armies and you have small skirmished 40K armies, and now they're going to try and merge them to where you have fantasy versus 40K, which would be the stupidest, the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Okay, Warma Hordes, I don't particularly like the game. I have several reasons not to, but we won't talk about that. Warma Hordes work that into their fluff. Different universe, different way things work. There's big beasts in a world that also has mechanisms and steampunk and all that. Fantasy, Games Workshop, they made their own fluff. They made their own universe, their own world. One is a fantasy setting, and it's bows and arrows and magic, and the other is 40K. And yeah, you can see like the Eldar might be the elves evolved over 40,000 years or whatever, but there's no comparison when laser guns and rockets and missiles and tanks are having to punch through armor that can stand up to lasers and missiles and tanks. What is an archer going to do? What is a spear that's not like charged up with psychic energy and all that garbage? What is it going to do to Terminator armor or any of this stuff? You can't take two settings that are totally different and totally ill-balanced and ram them together and say, hey, some other companies do it, so we're going to ram ours together and merge them and make them fight each other. That's if you want to see how lame that is and how it doesn't work, go rent the movie Cowboys and Aliens and watch Harrison Ford try really hard to flush his career. But that's the second theory. The third theory, which is the one I think sounds the most credible, is that the owner, the CFO, CEO, whatever of Games Workshop forgot to password his computer, took his kids to work one day, and they jumped on the computer and had some fun, and rather than admit his mistake, he just rolled with it. That's my opinion. That's my theory anyway. So, moving on down the rumors here. Round bases. All right, things are going to move to round bases. Well, a couple of problems with this is all of my stuff, and I have 7 armies and half of another one, and I have 7.5 armies on square bases. If you've ever tried to remove a model from its base that's been glued down, you know it's not just pull him off and stick him on something else. But as I'm hearing, all of our models, if the rumors are true, I keep throwing that in there because I'm not telling you this is the way it is. I'm telling you if the rumors are true. If the rumors are true and this goes on, our models are obsolete. We will be getting new models like the Nagash model, which, hey, that's great. I love these big models. I love the end times. I think it's wonderful and it's shaking up Warhammer. But if it's leading to what I have titled Pinball of the Gods, where we're flying around in space, bumping into each other, and the gods are like flicking us around with little bumper pads, I think it's death to the game, really. But round bases on everything, and You know, they say our models will obsolete. That's what some people are saying. But the new images that are out show the Screaming Bell and the Plague Furnace on round bases. They're the same models, they're just on round bases. So it can't be that all models are obsolete. Maybe it's just big ones. But then you go into the rumors again. All models are on round bases, and they're actually going to make custom movement trays with round holes in them that your models can go into that keep them in a formation so you can move them. And there might be some sort of benefits to being ranked up with round bases, which means they don't touch. You can forget all these rules about models and base contact, because there won't be any base contact except one little spot of a round base touching another one. Not unless you break formation and wrap around like 40K, which is what they're frickin' doing, is turning this into 40K, and that is infuriating. Because if I wanted to play 40K, I would go buy people with space guns and jumpsuits and all this kind of garbage, and I would go buy it. 40K, hey, it's a cool game. But I tell you, this year makes 21 years ago. I met a guy, he had some 40K stuff. I loved it. I went to a little store called Lion and Unicorn here in Alabama, over in Hoover, and I bought some Space Marines. Within, I think, a month, maybe 2 months, I didn't even have them all assembled and painted or anything like that. I went back into the store and saw Fantasy being played, High Elves versus Dwarves. It might have been Empire with Dwarves in it, because it was back in like 4th edition. And I was like, whoa, this isn't 40K. You're playing with medieval stuff and fantasy. And he was like, yeah, and he started showing me. The first time I saw a bolt thrower fire a giant spear that punched through 3 guys before it stopped, I said, that's it, I'm sold. Where can I buy my stuff? And it's been fantasy all the way. Fantasy ever since I put 40K down. I've bought an army here and there and tried it, but I sell it off real quick. Right now I've got a large Eldar army in my closet just collecting dust, because I bought it, I got pumped up, bought the new rules, bought the cards, bought all the psychic powers, all that stuff. Never even played it. Fantasy has been my true love since I found it. And Fantasy and my wife kind of go back and forth at each other, because neither one of them wants to try and push the other one out of the picture. But anyway, I love Warhammer Fantasy. It has been awesome ever since it came out. Every edition has been just cooler and cooler. The models keep getting better. And now they're going on round bases. Everything's going to skirmish 40K, 40K, 40K. And I hate it. If it's true, I hate it. Will I try it? Yeah. When it comes out, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see. I'm going to buy the rule book, see what's going on, and I'm not saying jump ship and run away. But if these rumors are true, it sounds to me like they're making 40K in history or whatever, and that's dumb. Another thing that I've heard is the changes to the army. 6 factions. Back when I started playing, all chaos was in one book, all the undead were in one book. The Empire included humans, halflings, ogres, and dwarves. They were all in the Empire book. And now the dwarves had their own book too, but they could be taken by the Empire. Okay, so that was kind of cool. Whatever. When they started branching off, it was exciting. I hated to see halflings go. I wish they would just made them less silly. Just bring them. Anyway, that's another story. Ogres got their own army. Oh my gosh, that was exciting to see these new ogres with these the mustaches and the Asian. Some of them had like an Asian look. The big ironclad boots and it was just awesome. I was so excited. Everybody I knew was just pumped and all that. Their first book sucked, but I mean, got the models and another army, and that was exciting. And then, dwarves always had their own army, but they got cooler and cooler. The Empire branched off on their own and lost all that extra stuff, and that's cool. They were awesome. They didn't need all that stuff. They had their own stuff, and it was cool. Now we're going to cram it all back into one book. I can't wait. They've done good with the fluff so far. I haven't had any problems with it except for Glotkin. Glotkin was the dumbest book I've ever read. But if they, I want to see how they work the ogres giving up their freedom and their ability to roam around and just joining the Empire. I want to see that happen. As well as the dwarves. That's a little more believable if, if they lose their mountains and all their homelands and all that, they may go back. Bretonnians too. Bretonnians are crippled right now. They may go join them. So that's believable. But ogres, okay, you're going to stretch this. But then we see the undead going back into one book. I don't have a problem with that, except the rumors say that Tomb Kings are basically gone. Everything Egyptian will be left out. We'll lose the Sphinxes, both of them. We will lose chariots, the Ushabti, probably the Hyro Titan, even though they don't have a model for it. The rumors say basically everything that looks really Egyptian is going away. Well, I've got about a 3,000 point Tomb King army with both Sphinxes, Ushabti. I got chariots. I got the Tomb Guard. Tomb Guard. All this stuff like this, and if that goes away, there's one entire army down. Now the skeletons can transfer, whatever, but basically I just lost a whole bunch of Tomb Kings. I hear Dark Elves merging, joining together. But the rumors say they're going to lose their crossbows. That's one of the first things you think about with Dark Elves is repeater crossbows, but I've got 60 of them, so I guess those will be useless if the rumors are true. I hear they will lose their Hydra and Charybdis, which I have both of. They're going, oh my goodness, the Cold One Knights, I've got about 20 of those. Lizard Men are going to jump back in their pyramid-shaped spaceships and fly away. Again, how stupid is this? Why? Why are you doing this? If the fluff says that we're all going to be floating around in space, and that's where they're going anyway, is they're going to make an exodus somehow and leave the world, why are we losing lizard men? What about all these players out there? I know guys who only have lizard men. So basically they have to buy a new army or they can't play 9th edition at all. You've just completely taken out an entire army on a whim, just blew them away. And you can't tell me that they're not selling, because you look on YouTube, you look online, they're all over the place. Anyway, I guess I'm not going to keep going with this. You see where I'm going. I'm not out of it yet. I am not so down that I'm saying I'm not going to give it a shot. I'm not going to check it out and not going to give it, buy the new models. I've seen the new Skaven. Hey, I love the models. They're cool looking. The Vermin Lord, I think he looks more like a demon prince, but, hey, he is a demon, so who knows. But then I come up and I see the new Skaven. I don't know what they're called right now, but and boy, they look like 40K to me. I know there's rattling guns and all that stuff, but with that thought in mind, when I saw these new models, the first thing that popped in my head was, oh my gosh, this looks like something that would be in 40K, Skaven in the future, and space rats. So it just leaned a little more towards merging the two. We're going to start fighting spacemen and giant bulky armor and all that stuff with our bows and arrows and spears. But anyway, if this happens, I completely believe in the free market. I am a free market guy. I own two businesses. I set my prices. Some people say I need to charge more. Some say I need to charge less. But the market tells me I'm pricing my stuff right where it needs to be. I have very few complaints. The people that do complain, I get a feeling that they complain about everything. And if you've ever been in business, you know that those people are out there. But I work with the market until my stuff is in the right spot and it sells consistently, and I'm making money, and my customers are mostly happy, the most happy in my price ranges, and that's where I stick. I believe in that. So if Warhammer wants to make these changes to their own product that they own and they started, let them. It's their right. They can do what they want. So they start their own thing, they change it. But here's the other side of the free market. That's us. if we don't like it, and this is the thing, this is the rumor. I think I've read it and I've heard MC1 Gamer read it, in one of his rumor things. They say they care about us and all that stuff, the old players and all, but they've basically, I'm reiterating, if this is true, they've basically given us the finger and said, hope you don't mind, but we're going to change everything you've had for all these years, my hobby for 21 years. We're going to take it, we're going to flush it, and make it something, hoping we can sell some more models. We're going to insult you a little bit by telling you it's the same thing, and then change the models and make them futuristic or steampunk. If I wanted to play steampunk, I'd go play Malifaux, or I'd go play Warma Hordes, something like that. Not stick with my own game and hope they jack it up and put some wires and tubes on my models. They're giving you the middle finger and they're saying, enjoy it, take it, and hope you like it. And if you don't, too bad. We're going to do it and try and sell models and make them anyway. This is so... Okay, one more thing. They keep popping up. Like the Blight Kings. You buy a box of models, you buy some Blight Kings. Well, of course they're not in your Chaos book. Just like the Glotkin aren't in your Chaos book. And Nagash isn't in your book. Well, he's in the Nagash book. But you open these things like Blight Kings, and I think Tyranids are doing it now too, and you have a little pamphlet inside with their rules. And that's something that they're leaning towards, which sounds, again, a whole lot like War Machine. You open it up, and each model you buy has a rule in it, the rules for your model. So now, are we going to have to buy our armies? Let's say you have 10 models. I don't know how many you're going to have, but let's just say 10, just to round it up or down, whatever. You have 10 models in your army. Are we going to have 10 little rule book, 10 little pamphlets we have to keep up with and carry, swap out when we change miniatures? What if it's a 50-man skirmish game, and we buy these things? And, I'm sure if it's 50 men, 10 of them will be in the same unit. But if you have 10 or 15 units out there, little skirmish units, are you going to have 10 or 15 rule books, little pamphlets that you're going to have to keep up with, put them in a little binder or a book? If so, I'll immediately open Photoshop and start making people game cards. God, I don't know. It all looks bad to me, but so did 7th, when 7th jumped to 8th, I'm sorry. Everything looked terrible. People were complaining and quitting and all that stuff, and I think 8th edition is the most fun, best edition I've ever played in Warhammer since 4th. So, hey, give it a shot, but you are the market. As far as the free market works, you and I are the free market. And if Games Workshop gives us the middle finger and does this stuff and takes away armies that you own, if they do it, if these rumors are true, and they say, hey, you don't like our new stuff, just play 8th edition. Sorry, it's going to be outdated soon, and you're going to feel like all your stuff is too weak to compete anymore. But you can still play it. We're just going to make 9th edition and go skirmish and just screw all of you and make our own stuff trying to make some more money. Forget the game part of it. I think the only recourse, the only way to tell them or send Games Workshop a message is to give them the finger right back. Screw them right back. Say, I'm not going to buy this. Just like Finecast. Oh my gosh, Finecast from a modeling side was a nightmare. How many models did you buy that you could hold up to the light and see through? They were so thin. Or you get them and a staff is bent, or a leg is bent out of place and you want to bend it back, but you just can't because it'll snap. You try and get heat anywhere near it. Sometimes I'll blow dry my stuff with a hairdryer to speed it up. First time I put on there, he melted. With a hairdryer, the thing melted. He just shriveled up and bent over, and you know what? People didn't buy it. They complained. They sent it back and they changed it almost immediately. It was such a fast turnaround back to plastics. Do it again. Let the free market tell Games Workshop, stop messing with our game. Stop messing with what you have that's good. Hey, add to it. Why don't you give us some new stuff? Don't jack up the price on an army book and re-release army books if you don't want to. But hey, you got an idea here. Release some big models for each unit, for each army. Hey, you don't want to make the Bretonnian book again? Make us a new unit of knights. Make them look really cool. Give us some rules to play with them, and stick them out there for us to use. Put the little pamphlet in there. Let us get used to that maybe. Beastmen. Hey, you stuck them back with everything else. But what if you want to run true Beastmen? Now you can give them a mark. That's not quite enough. Why don't you throw us some new stuff in there with a little pamphlet in the box, and let us have an updated army, or at least a unit to use in our army. You don't have to remake the entire army. You've shown us that right now. But don't ruin our game. Don't take an entire fan base of fantasy and make us play 40K just with different looking models. If I wanted to play 40K, I would have played it a long time ago. Anyway, this has turned into a rant more than a rumor discussion. Try and stay positive. I know I haven't, but and that's not easy to do, to get me to not be hopeful. But try and stay positive. Wait it out. I see people. Some people are canceling commissions with me because their stuff is going to go away, and it's only been one or two, and I picked up two more to put in their place. It's not like, oh, everything's been crippled now. My work is steady. That's not what led to this rant, is what I'm saying. I'm still booked through February, and I just got another quote today coming in. So, try and stay positive. I am going to, until I see what's happening, what they're doing. I am going to go to buying up some, what is it called? Drop Zone Commander. I'm going to give it a shot. I don't really care to get into 40K, spend that kind of money on it, but Drop Zone Commander looks cool. Different range, different style miniature. Going to try and give it a shot. And then if fantasy isn't ruined, if they don't screw it up and jack everything up and give us the finger, then I will gladly come back to my true love of Warhammer Fantasy and still have my 7 armies to use on it. But that's what I suggest you do. Don't just roll over with it. If you hate it, don't go buy it all up and let Games Workshop think you like it. If you hate it, let them know you hate it. If you're not happy, don't buy it. You wouldn't go buy a car that you hate. So on a smaller scale, if they don't, there's so many games out there, so many things. Don't give up on Warhammer, but don't buy an edition and let them change it. Just like 40K, when they released 6th edition, it sucked, and a year later they put out 7th. Go with it. If they put out 9th and it's no good, drop it. Don't let, this I know some people who run GTs, and they say that there's a potential chance that this will kill GTs if this is true. So many people want to stick with 8th while other people want to go to 9th. And your tournaments will falter. Some of them, not all of them, but don't let Games Workshop do this. Be the free market and push them back and tell them, hey, give us fantasy, not not fantasy K. Anyway, I'm going to stop. I've said that a few times. I'm going to stop. Hope I didn't go too long. Hope I didn't bore you. And throw your comments out there. Let me know whatever you hear. And I look forward to seeing what you think about it. Have a good one.